jump to the draft. We're let me see. I think 3 weeks away from tomorrow. We've got the NFL draft. Greg, when you look at the Patriots roster, which three positions must the Patriots draft and get a potential starter? You know, when you look at the three positions that you want to stick a pin in, so to speak, if you're the Patriots, and you say we've got to get a starter down the road at that position, what positions are we talking?
Number one for me, and I know it's not sexy, and people will make fun of me because they love to when it comes to this, but to me, it's a run stuffer inside, like a bona fide, got to put two guys on him, got to take up blockers, he's not going to get moved, that sort of guy. Because even if you think, you know, give Devon Godchow the year two or year one pass that we're giving Nelson Aguilar and Jonnu Smith. Even if you do that, he's in a contract year. And there's nothing beyond that. I mean, the only other real interior guys that they have are Ekawale and Bill Murray. That's, you know, and Bill Murray's a nice try-hard guy, but he's undersized, and Ekawale's okay, but that's literally all they have at nose tackle. I mean, Lawrence Guy is, I look at him as more of an end, and that's where he's played here. Or, you know, if you go to a 4-3, I don't want to get into that because it really doesn't matter anymore. You need to stop the run at least on first down in the league now. And I just don't think the Patriots have the personnel. I'm not high on Godchow. He could be better in year two. I'm not discounting that. I'm just going off of what I saw in year one. He should have had an easier time transitioning than anybody because he was in Miami with Brian Flores playing the exact same spot. He played it well. He comes here. It shouldn't have been any transition for him, and he underwhelmed largely last year. To me, you know, if they have a chance to get a guy like Jordan Davis from Georgia at number 21, and he's there, I'm running up to the podium and I'm taking him because you put his 6'6", 340-pound, you know, bench press 8,000 pounds guy right in the middle of that defense. The Patriots are a hell of a lot better the next day. So to me, number one is a run stuffer nose tackle.
Me as cornerback. I still think they need a legit man cornerback who can play press coverage, even if they're going to a little bit more zone. I'm not the biggest fan of Jalen Mills, as you know. You might be able to hide him at the number two position with a really good number one. Malcolm Butler's 32 years old. Terrence Mitchell is pretty much, you know, your solid NFL veteran. They need to get younger at cornerback, and they need to get somebody who can play man coverage. You don't necessarily need a lockdown top five corner, but I really think they have to show some urgency getting young at that position because the guys right now on the roster, a lot of questions for me. And so I'd like to see them invest in a nice, young, legit man cover corner. But hey, look, I hear you. I hear you about Jordan Davis. And I don't necessarily disagree with your Jordan Davis take. I mean, if you're looking at, let's say, Elam versus Davis at 21, I would go with the higher ceiling, more potential guy, and I would pick Davis. And I would hope that one of the corners that would fall to me in the second round would be my man corner of the future. Because Davis, look, if you could just imagine Christian Barmore with Jordan Davis and how much of a disaster that would be for opposing offensive lines, it makes me straight up giddy.
They'd wreck people. Teams would not be able to handle it inside.
Yep. I mean, and we always talk about it, but it's so true. If you can get that pressure up the middle, and that is what destroys a quarterback. So I think if you could get Davis at 21, I would have absolutely no problem with that pick. Your second position you're looking at, Greg.
Offensive tackle. You know, Isaiah Wynn's in his fifth-year option year. Trent Brown is here for, you know, who knows how long. You know, if he doesn't play more than, you know, a half a season, he could be gone after this year. They didn't, you know, give him that much money. They didn't guarantee him that much money. You know, they don't. I mean, but the big thing is I think they need to try to get a guy who's a left tackle for the future. And either, you know, for the first year as a rookie, starts at guard, or you move Wynn inside the guard and play this kid. I'm getting, you know, an offensive tackle with starter upside relatively early in the draft, because to me it's a huge need. I think both tackle spots beyond this year are big question marks.
We once agree. We once again agree, Mr. Bedard, because I think when you look at offensive tackle, you said everything I could say. Brown and Wynn, to me, major question marks for the long term. And if you could get a staple, if you could get a guy who's there for the next 8 to 10 years and you could rely on, then you could figure it out with Wynn. And if Brown has a good season, great. You could keep Brown and everything's fine. But right now it's a little too unknown, a little too unpredictable. And I'm not super confident in Brown being able to stay healthy. And I'm not super confident after Wynn's season a year ago. So I think getting that young tackle would make a ton of sense. Your third position.
Yeah, I mean, you made me reconsider. I mean, cornerback is definitely on the list, and it should definitely be considered. So I'm going to split cornerback and also wide receiver here. There's sort of a tie for me because we talked about the future. There's no one signed beyond 2023 at receiver. You'd love to get a talented young guy that you can pair with Mac Jones and their, Batman and Robin for the next 10 years at receiver. You would love to get that guy in this draft, but if it doesn't work out, okay, but I'm fine with a cornerback because like you said, cornerback is in the same sort of position. You don't know what you're going to get. You don't know whether you have a matchup guy in terms of man coverage in that unit. You'd like that because you're going to have to win on third and 12, big game, playoff game, or to get into the playoffs, you're going to have to man up and bring pressure at certain times. Who's gonna do that? Who's gonna provide a stop for you? It's tough to see anybody right now, and you need to get somebody in the pipeline that can do that for you.